Hello, my name is Rachel and I'm here today to do a video that I saw on Lauren from Lauren in the Books channel and Ange from Beyond the Pages channel, and it just looked quite fun. So it's where you pick some books that begin with the letters from the word Christmas. So a book beginning with C, a book beginning with H, a book beginning with R, that sort of thing. And for their videos, they picked books on their TBR that they are hoping to get to soon or that they are excited to get to. And yeah, it just seemed like fun, so I decided to do it today for day 15 of Vlogmas. So the first one for C is Crow by Ted Hughes. This is a poetry collection by Ted Hughes, and this is the Faber copy, which is just beautiful. And I am really, really excited to get to this. It is about a crow who kind of goes through time and is there at many major historical events and sort of narrates or like interferes or something along those lines. The main reason I want to pick this up is, as I've mentioned before, I read Grease the Thing with Feathers last year and it was one of my favourite books of the year, and it is loosely based around this book, so I'm hoping to read this before I reread Grease is the Thing with Feathers. So I'm hoping to get to this by the end of the year. That would be quite good. But if not, then I'll be getting to it in the new year because it definitely is a priority for me. The next book that I have is a book that I picked because it's set in Switzerland and I now live in Switzerland, and it is a very famous Swiss classic, and it is Heidi by Joanna Spyries. This is the brilliant Puffin Classics edition, which is just so cute, and it has such cute end papers, and it's just a really, really nice edition of it. I recently read Anne of Green Gables and thought it was fantastic, so I'm definitely excited to get to this because in my mind I think of them as quite similar, even though they might not be. But yes, so that's for Hate. Then for R, we have a book that I've wanted to read for the last 6 months and haven't picked up because I knew it would take me a long time because it's a bigger book, and yeah, that's not going to be a thing that I do next year. I'm just going to pick up what I want. So this is going to be one of the first things I pick up, and it is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So I have already read Frenchman's Creek by Daphne du Maurier and really, really enjoyed it, and I'm super excited for this one. I also brought the movie to Switzerland with me so that once I've watched this, I can straight away watch the movie adaptation, which is quite exciting. So this is about a girl who meets a man called Max de Winter, who is a widower, and he ends up asking her to marry him, and she moves to his house Manderley, and apparently focuses on how the memory of his old wife is kind of kept alive and still haunting this place. So this sounds really cool, and I think it'll be really atmospheric. It's still going to be snowing here till February, so I feel like my seasonal reading this year is going to be very different to what it's been in the past, and that I'm going to just carry on reading atmospheric books till March. So yes, excited for this. Then for I, we have a book that I have actually recently started, and it is called It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. This is a very famous book. I have seen the film in the past, but from what I've read of the book so far, I'm enjoying the book more than the film. I'm on page 53. This is about a boy who basically puts so much pressure on himself for school and just succeeding and all of these things, and eventually attempts to commit suicide, and then he signs himself into a facility to help him after this attempt at suicide, and it goes from there. So I'm really excited to read this. As I said, the film has always stuck with me, and I've always wanted to read the book, and then I saw it a few weeks ago and decided to pick it up and just start it straight away. And yeah, I am quite enjoying it, and we'll be hoping to read this by the end of the year. So this one is for I, and it is Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I'm hoping to read this next year. This is as part of I want to read all of Jane Austen's works next year, so this is one that I am hoping to pick up quite early as it was her first published novel. And this follows two sisters who their father dies and they have to leave the house and go live with someone else, basically try and get married to kind of sustain their position. And one of them is quite headstrong and the other is the sensible one who's trying to keep the younger one in check. So I'm super excited for this. Then for T, we have another book that I'm very excited for, and it is Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. This will be my first Sarah Waters, even though I feel like I've read Sarah Waters before. I have had all of Sarah Waters' books for about 4 years now, and I always think about books as something that I will adore and be obsessed with, but I've still not read one, and I don't know why that is. And this follows Nan King, who is apparently an Oyster Girl turned music hall star turned rent boy turned East End Tom. So excited for this book. For M, we have a book that I think anyone who has seen any of my videos before wouldn't be surprised to see. It is Morningstar by Pierce Brown. I am obsessed with this series, and this is the only book from the series that I've not read, but I'm hoping to reread Red Rising and Golden Sun before I read Morningstar, but it's definitely on my priority list for the new year because I love this series and just want to read this so much. I think about it so much. So this one's for M. This is the third book in the series, and obviously I'm not going to say anything that happened because, spoilers, this is the most turbulent, fast-paced series that I've read in so long. Then for A, we have Ariel by Sylvia Plath. This is a poetry collection by Plath that I have wanted to read for ages. This is probably, obviously The Bell Jar is her most famous work, but this is probably her most famous following that. And I'm super excited to pick it up. The Bell Jar is one of my favourite books of all time. I love the way that she writes, and I just think that like beautiful sense that you get from her writing will translate really well to poetry. I am flying home on Sunday, and I'm thinking of taking this one on the plane with me. So yes, should be finished by the end of 2017. And then for S, we have C.H.R.I.S.T.M.A.S by George Eliot. I haven't read any George Eliot. I was supposed to at university actually. During my Victorian class, I was supposed to have read The Mill on the Floss and did not. And then I went to all the lectures that followed and know the big thing that happens in it. So don't want to read it anyway because I know the ending. But this is the one that I am very interested to read. This was George Eliot's favourite one of her novels, and it follows a man who is wrongly accused of theft and sent away from the community that he lived in, and he moves away and lives alone, and then an orphan girl comes and steals some stuff from him, and it is about them sort of getting to know each other, basically. It sounds like it's going to be quite a heartwarming book and quite a good book to read, so I'm hoping to get to this one next year, and it's quite short, so I can see myself getting to it quite easily. So yes, we have this one. And so they are all the books that on my TBR making up the word Christmas, which is exciting and has just made me want to read so many of them now, so that's good. Although I am like currently reading about 10 books, it's getting ridiculous because I keep starting new ones all the time, which is just irritating the fuck out of me. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for day 16 of Vlogmas. Bye!